Hello there. Now, we are being warned to expect a summer of discontent. And it's almost like the police themselves are gagging to get things kicking off. Nothing to do with us, says Essex Police. Those pro-migrant protesters came from nowhere. All claims that they were shepherded in by our police officers are pure bunkum. Oh, wait. You mean you have video footage of this taking place? Of us escorting them down the street towards the Bell Hotel in Epping, and then at the end of all of that, when that was over, we shipped them back in our cars, away from Epping for their safety. Oh no, that didn't happen, did it? Oh yes, it did, and they had to admit it. And they sort of say, yes, it sort of happened. And there's an Essex Police press conference this afternoon about this to answer people's questions, serious questions that people have. So a group of angry but peaceful local demonstrators gathered outside the Bell Hotel in Epping as part of a long protest to get the hotel shut down. But the police, knowing the protesters are angry, decided to facilitate a gathering next to them of people most probably bussed into the area from miles away, who completely dismissed the concerns of the locals and then add petrol to the fire by shouting abuse at them. And the police claim they want to keep the king's peace. Well, that's a great way of doing that. Not. As Ben Habib told Mike Graham on Talk TV, it takes two-tier policing to a whole new level, he said, with Mike Graham saying the police brought in left-wing activists to go in and cause trouble. Just about shows you what it's all about, doesn't it? Smashing the gangs? No. It's all about smashing local communities and the UK economy. The locals themselves are saying that the police decision to escort the counter-protesters to the hotel, some of whom were masked, was just asking for trouble. One leader of the anti-migration protest and Reform UK council candidate said that residents felt that the police were trying to force a confrontation. When anyone tries to protest against the pro-Hamas mob, though, they are kept well clear and arrested immediately if they get anywhere near the pro-Pali wasters are. And don't you dare protest anywhere near any of the groomers either. But we shouldn't get all disillusioned with this, should we? After all, the police have been known to escort peaceful people on the other side of the fence, haven't they? Yes, they are so kind and considerate, aren't they? How two-tier of them. So they're helping our mate, young Tommy Robinson, and they're with him all the time. And do you remember they gave him some eye treatment as well at very close range? And I don't know what happened to the police officer or police officers who did that. It seemed to me well over the top. And there he is, being protected, actually, you can see behind him by Richard Inman, and the police are just circling him, and they just want to escort him safely away, don't they? Yeah. So you do have to wonder what goes through the minds of some of our senior plod, don't you? Either that or question where they really do get their orders from. So yeah, there he is being manhandled away. He was peaceful and they're trying to... This is two-tier. They didn't do that with the counter-protesters in Epping, did they? No. That's a completely different story. The Reform UK leader, Nigel Farage, said on X, if I can find the right one, Essex police escorted Antifa protesters to the Bell Hotel in Epping to force a confrontation. Initially, they denied that it had ever happened in the first place. Heads must roll. And he's actually also called for the resignation of the Chief Constable of Essex. But I have to wonder, there's also another person called the Police and Crime Commissioner should be looking at themselves as well, because they are put in place politically to deal with politically charged stuff. So, yeah, that's down to them as well. But everyone forgets about those highly paid local government officers, haven't they? Police and Crime Commissioners. They're in on this as well. So, all this is going on as fears of a summer of violence increase. And from the Mail, a council leader in an area where a large anti-migrant protest broke out has warned that the anger around the country is real, as he echoed fears there could be a second summer of riots. Protests have spread, with Labour accused of taking advantage of tight-knit communities by busing dozens of single male migrants into their hotels, sparking fears Britain could spiral into discontent. Sir Keir Starmer has been warned that the UK is a powder keg that could explode into a repeat of the street violence that followed the Southport murders 12 months ago, unless his government urgently gets a grip on migrant hotels. And I would say there is absolutely fat chance of him doing so. It doesn't seem to be ending any time soon. Now, Essex Police themselves put out a statement about all of this that says the following. A total of 5 men have now been charged after incidents of violent disorder in Epping. This follows a series of protests relating to the Bell Hotel, which began peacefully but escalated to the point of disorder and criminal damage. There will continue to be a very visible policing presence in Epping to ensure the safety of our community and to hear concerns raised. Well, it's a good job there aren't any other incidents happening of people trying to bring their voices to the fore, isn't it? So they might get stretched thin if that sort of thing does happen, or will they stay there in their own little area? And to hear the words that they say, to hear concerns raised, what have the locals been doing all this time? They've been trying to make their concerns be heard, but they were comprehensively ignored and in the process smeared as racists and bigots, all for the sake of diversity. Yeah, so that sounds like an upshot of everything that's been going on, and it's really depressing. And as someone says here, they've picked, Compost Smurf, they've picked their side, treat them accordingly. We have to be very careful about this. It's very difficult to work out at what level, if ever, if any, is still there, where morals and moral fibre it takes hold as it goes down the ranks, because it seems to be getting lower and lower and lower all the time. Yeah. Yeah, and Attack Mars says the whole country needs to stop working, block the streets off with their cars, bring the country to a halt. Yeah, this is really getting beyond a joke, this whole thing. It's upsetting people, it's upsetting families. School children don't feel safe going to school anymore. This is a country falling apart at the seams, and it's not by accident. You can't say it's by accident. You can't say it's people being useless at their jobs or whatever. No, it's not. They're being very, very good at what they're doing, and they know exactly what they're doing. Now, you may not have heard, but it is reported that the UK authorities are trying to bypass any anti-rubber boat protests in Dover by diverting the RNLI and Border Force landings 20 miles to the north by landing the illegals in Ramsgate. And this one's from the Express. Small boat arrivals are apparently being diverted from Dover to Ramsgate in a bid to avoid clashes with protesters as tensions continue to escalate at asylum seeker hotels across the UK. The Home Office opted to reroute the landings over the weekend in a break with standard protocol after receiving intelligence about a planned demonstration in Dover. So there you have it. They'll just start sending the boats here, there, and everywhere, and trying to bypass anyone who might get in the way or might be upset, and then shut down, make sure no one with cameras goes anywhere near, like they tried to do right at the start. If you remember, a couple of years ago, they were fencing everything off, arresting people who had a camera anywhere near the entry point. Oh dear. And as Jenny Pritchard says, the simmer of discontent just about sums it up, doesn't it? And we're doomed. I mean, I hate to see things like this. We shouldn't be thinking like this. We are meant to be an upbeat and very optimistic type country. But when you see that your own the whole establishment, right from the very top, right the way down through the system, has been totally overtaken by Marxists and the woke, and are working hard to make your life a misery. That seems to be the upshot of what they're doing. They want to make our lives a misery. And I just, yeah. Because they will do everything they can where these rubber boats are concerned, won't they? They do everything they can apart from stopping them. Yeah, so as Yogi Bear says, it's illegal to state the truth in the UK. Yeah, it's getting more and more like that all the time. I just sort of despair about where we're going and why we are allowing it to happen. We keep voting, don't we? We keep voting for not this, for anything but this. But all we get is exactly the same thing happening. And the more you look at it, the more you find out that the last government was going to do something. The new government comes in and just carries on and picks up the baton and does the same thing. It's not like they do anything different. It's all part of a big setup. And despite Keir Starmer saying he wants to stop the use of hotels, we now have the Britannia International Hotel in Canary Wharf being readied to accept even more of them. And here is Reform UK MP Lee Anderson on that.
Update for you. Just spoke to the local commander. He tells me that the hotel now is being prepared to accept asylum seekers. So the rumours are true. It's a pity that some of the police officers didn't know, some did know, and absolutely furious. This hotel here, by the way, I mean, it must cost a couple £100 a night to stay there. Most normal people in this country would not even be able to afford to come and stay here for a weekend, but we've got illegals coming, and hope the protesters remain peaceful and don't get to bother. They seem like a quiet bunch at the moment, but let's hope it's all peaceful.
Yeah, let's hope it is all peaceful, but that it's not like the establishment is doing anything other than continuing this whole thing. It's not stopping. It's not stopping. This is not slowing down. It is not even staying the same level. It is growing worse every single day. They are going totally against what they were saying. As I said, they're not smashing the gangs. They're smashing us. That's it. They're smashing us. And we have to hoist that in and understand it, because otherwise we really are doomed. So, as Tina McIntyre says, they want you to kick off so they can ban people from protesting about asylum seekers. Why do you think they banned Palestine protests to pave the way for? Yeah, it's this whole thing is just about shutting down our freedom of speech. We can't go against anything the government says ever, because they will come after us. It's just, and as Mark Farley says, we can't afford this as a nation. Yeah, and Lord Viking says worse every day is according to the plan, isn't it? Well, that's what I've said. It is. It must be. There must be a plan behind this because nothing else explains it. Yeah. So I'm just getting a bit hot under the collar, as you could well imagine. I want us to be able to vote our way out of this. I want to go to the ballot box, put a vote on a piece of paper that says you are going to change this. But if you do that and you put your vote in the ballot box and it doesn't change anything, then what is democracy? Where are we with this? Where does the government really think we are with this? Yeah. Yeah, it's not being done by people smugglers, says Steve Wasmuth. Smugglers don't stand on the borders with assault rifles bringing them through. Yeah, that's what's been happening. I mean, Patrick Christys showed that, didn't he? And it seems they're allowed to have these things. I just don't know what's going on. You'd think the French police would be going into overdrive, wouldn't you, to stop this? Because if they stop people coming across, they'd stop people coming into their own country. But the thing is, they've lost control of their own country. They can't stop them coming in. The EU can't stop them. Well, they can, but they'd have to do various not very nice things in order to do it. And then they will be charged with racism. And the EU Commission will never have that. They must never be seen as racist. So the borders stay open and it stays open season to push them across to us. And that's what's going on. Yeah. What is this that Deborah Daniels says? Have you got any info on Canary Wharf? Only what I've seen, what's going on from Lee Anderson. There were rumours that that hotel was opened to take Epping, the Epping hotel people and put them in there. But that hasn't happened as far as I'm aware. I can see nothing to confirm that. And GB News said at lunchtime that actually the hotel in Canary Wharf is a standby. It's not even being used. It's a standby. It's just there, ready to go. And there was a story that a couple got out of a taxi this morning to go to stay in that hotel, went up to it, the police talked to them, they got in the taxi and went off. So they probably paid a load of money to stay in a hotel in Britain, and now they're being told that it's going to be given to asylum seekers, not them, who paid their money. I hope they get their money back plus a large amount. But if they do, guess who's paying? Us. Yeah. Most annoying. Sorry, I just was reading this one. Thank you very much, Scoop Dog. If I can donate, anyone can. Tight Yorkshireman here. Appreciate you. Thank you very much, Snoop Dogg. Much appreciated. That's really great. Oh, and if anyone's wondering where Richard is today, he's meeting with someone at the moment, and I said I'd conduct this one on my own, despite having, fat fingers pressing the wrong button all the time. Doesn't matter. I can wear the criticism, but it's been okay so far. Hope you're enjoying it all. We've got to stop paying taxes, says Lord Viking. Groucho Marx says, Tina Lomax says, I'm fuming, while Groucho Marx says, I'm skint. Yeah, so I think we're all getting more skint all the time because we're waiting for those more taxes, aren't we? All those taxes for the working people who live in hotels, working for delivery firms and all the rest of it, not paying tax. Yeah, yes, this is just going to get worse. Oh, oh dear, poor old Bob Callan. I tell you what, Bob, mate, get your own YouTube channel and I'll come on over and have a go at you. No taxation without representation. Well, yeah, at the moment it's going to be the other way around, isn't it? We're going to have representation without taxation at this rate. And the people who do pay the tax are probably the ones who are not allowed to vote in the end because they've got opinions that don't go with with where it's meant to be going. Load of you really have to worry and wonder about all of these. This government, the last government, the next government. Thumbs up, peeps. Says absolutely average. Let's keep our thumbs averagely up. Thank you very much. Yes. Right, Right. Oh, this is a good one. I like this one from Colin Melling. 3 groups: police, Antifa, patriots. 2 of these groups are being paid. Who is the innocent group? What a good observation. Yes. You know, these, if you looked at the how these people get to these places, apart from the police helping them in, by the way, which is at taxpayers' expense, they're probably getting their funding from central places that like to see the destruction of the UK. And it's not just the destruction of the UK, it's destruction of our lives that they're looking for. Remember that it's not our life, not as in living or dying. It's destruction of our way of life, of how we believe and what we want to see. They want to grind us down. That's what they want. They've no intention of making this country work, none at all. Yeah. Well, this is another question I've asked before from CB55. How are we, the majority, accepting this from the minority? That's a magnificent question. We do it all the time, don't we? Here we have, it's like MPs. They got there because they want to. A lot of them get there because they've got some minority interest, as we're seeing in this Gaza thing. I would say there's 50 or 60 of them who put Gaza far above the needs of the UK, far above the needs of the UK. And they're doing it on purpose. That's their thing, you know. And so we have to live by their minority interest. I say, no, not at all. We need to, yeah. Yeah. And it's, as Mark II Tech says, destruction of the West. Well, I can't argue with that one bit, because it's the evidence coming in is just thicker and faster every single day, isn't it? And it just makes for very, very disappointing and worse. How can the ordinary person in this country think about 5 years' time? You can't, can you? Because you don't even know if you'll have a job. You don't even know if all your money is going to be taken, everything. And the other thing is that they're now looking at extending the pension age further up and up and up, because everything has to be paid for. But they're not cutting back on things. They're still spending more and more and more of our money. That means taxes have to go up. Pensions will have to probably come down, but be extended in age, so you don't ever qualify for one. So no, it's and we are policing by consent, of course. Matt says, remove the consent, govern, and policing is by consent. Get it removed and take the country back. Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Because it's all written down in law these days, and they don't have to. They don't have to police by consent anymore. In fact, they know they don't. It's turned into a paramilitary unit, the police has, and I'm afraid to say it's just not right. There's no more local policing. It's just turn up mob-handed wherever anyone has a go at the government for not doing what they said they were going to do before they were voted in. Yeah, as MD says, Starmer's Stasi. Yeah. Yes. All right, aren't you? David says, anyone remember Johnny English, where character Pascal Sauvage intended turning Great Britain into a giant dustbin penal colony off mainland Europe? Well, yeah. Comedy turned into truth, eh? I don't know. It's just, yeah. Ahmed the terrorist says, Jeff, this is all by design. As I've said, I can't disagree. It just seems to be happening with more intent. More power is given to the authorities to do it, to make it happen, that judges are giving them the power not to tell us. What other things, apart from that ruddy great big super injunction, aren't we being told about? Because some judge with their wig on and their gown has sat there and said, the prills don't need to know that. It's above their pay grade, you know, as they take all our money and earnings. Yeah. So they really should be working for us. It's about time, you know, if the judges want to be politicized, I say, let's elect them. Let them stand for their seats, for their wonderful seats in court. And then we'll see when the people say, well, I'm not voting for you because you're woke. Then we'll soon start seeing things change. That's when things will change. But we haven't got the chance. We've got a Supreme Court, which is supreme over us, and they're appointed. The judges are appointed. It's an absolute disaster, total disaster, not for them, for us. Yeah. Yeah, if they, as Snoop Dogg says, if they need to pay to protest, they haven't got the numbers. We do it at our own cost. This is true. What's going to happen at the moment? They're bussing these people in from various areas. They get together, bus in. So far from it being the far right, as they claimed last year, that was bussed in to do all this, and then they had to admit later it wasn't the far right that did it. They weren't being bussed in. So what we have now is a situation where they're bussing all the far left in from all over the place to try and kick things off. And they don't go there with a sort of what you would think of a lefty soft attitude of trying to comfort people, bring them round to their way of thinking and explaining this. And no, they just go straight in there. You're a racist and a bigot and a Nazi. And that just makes people who are concerned for our country, who have local concerns over their own families and children, makes them even more angry. But that's why they do it. That's why they do it. They love needling people. So yeah, it's yeah, and the unions are on board with Davos goals. They are for the moment, I think. What they don't realise is this is just Davos, the WEF, is just a joint thing between big companies and big government. At the end of the day, it's not about people. Unions should be about people. But when they get sucked into this corporation, government, joint thing, they'll find that their people, they'll have a choice to make. Do the union bosses join the government and the big corporations, or do they look after the people? And that point, I think, is coming soon. I think that point's coming soon. So, yeah. Anyway, as you see, I'm getting just a little bit upset about all this. Yes, I've just seen a comment. We need to force a general election. We can't force one. Labour is in as long as they want to be. And the only thing that's going to stop them is, yes, because they don't have to go. The whole point is that the only legal way, as I've said, I think I said yesterday or the day before, the only legal way of getting rid of a government is to have a general election. And the only people who can call it is the government. So you get where it's going. The only thing that stops a government extending their 5-year term is that the House of Lords has the power to stop any law going through that prevents a general election at the 5-year point. So they can't overthrow that. They would have to pass a law and the Lords wouldn't allow them to do it. That's one thing that the House of Lords does have. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. From Carol Georgina. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Carol. Thank you very much indeed. This is that I've been thinking about this, Lily. I really have. I've taken up archery, fabulous sport. Actually, I was looking into this because someone else was talking about it a while back, and it turns out that you can do archery just about anywhere on common ground as long as you're safe about it all. And there are clubs out there where you can hone down your archery skills. Yeah, that would be a good pastime just to take your mind off of politics and away from all this talk about violence, isn't it? Just go there calmly and learn how to shoot straight and true like they used to. In fact, in England at one stage, can't remember when it was, centuries ago, you had a duty to practice a couple of hours a week at your archery as an Englishman. Bring those days back, I say. Good for fitness and health and all the rest of it. Yeah, this is Mark says the police did the same with the coal miners in the 80s. Now they're bringing back they're opening the inquiry, aren't they, into the Orgreave thing Can't remember whether they called it a riot or what, I don't know, but they're doing another investigation into that. It's like they're trying to twist knives and press skewers into things to try and open wounds. The trouble is that the government needs the police at the moment. It needs the police. And if it now has an inquiry that says that the police are awful because they want to have a go at Thatcher, basically, that's what it, and the right, but it tells that everyone then gets told the police are awful. How is that going to help them today after all this time? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Anyway, yes. The Demolition Man world seems to be becoming a reality. Yes, you can imagine parts of London being taken over for that, couldn't you? Right on today. Yes, and as Lee says, Blair. Yeah, I put a lot on his. He tried to change everything, and it just made the whole thing so much so much worse. And yeah, someone says this is WW4, so we bypassed WW3 and gone straight for the worst one. Yeah. And this is a good one from Roy Pompom. The left's only goal in a debate is to develop a reason to ignore any person presenting facts. Have you noticed that? When they turn up at these protests, they're actually told not to interact with anyone because they might have to debate. And if they debate, they might lose. So if you don't talk to anyone, if you just wave your flag, shout in their face, don't engage otherwise, which is probably why they don't engage with the people of Epping and just throw abuse at them, then you don't actually have to form a debate, have an argument, a proper political debate on all of this. They don't want to go down that route just in case they get found out. So yeah, they're not going to allow that to happen. Not at all. Yeah. Yeah, guess who will be voting for Labour? I'm not sure they will, actually. I'm not sure they will. I think because as far as I can see, a lot of them come from a certain demographic. They're getting strong enough to completely ignore Labour. That is the panic that Labour is in. They are worried that they're going to lose that certain demographic. The vote of it is growing in number, but they're not going to get the votes. It's going to go elsewhere. So yeah. And if anyone can hear the constant beeping in the background, which I can, which is most annoying, it's my halfway through the stream, my fire alarm battery is obviously getting too low. So it's now beeping at me, telling me to change it. I would, except I'm sat here talking to you. So if you do hear the odd beep coming in the background, that's what it is. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, general election, LOL. What's the point in this nonsense democracy? Says Knights Templar. Yeah. They think that once they're in, they're ultra powerful, can do anything they like because of the way our system works. But yeah, we're getting to a point where people are going to be asking serious questions, like Professor Betts has been asking these serious questions, and the more you listen to him, the more you see, the more his conviction seems to go up by the day that we're going down that route. And if we are going down that route, then once again, that just proves that's where the establishment wants to take us. Because they're not doing anything to stop it. They're not doing anything to protect us. So, yeah. We are at war, a different sort of war so far, says Minty the Moose. Yeah. Yeah, we isn't it strange we don't seem to have any rights anymore of our own as a nation? As most 99% of us are law-abiding people, but we're not being listened to anymore. No one wants to know. It's the people who break the law. Up until recently, I mean, if Palestine Action hasn't been touched for ages, it's only just recently they've been doing this. And as I've said before, and I think someone said in one of the comments earlier, they're doing that to legitimize what they're going to be doing in the next few months. Oh, we're even-handed. We dealt with Palestine Action. Now we're prescribing you and sending you to jail as well. But we're not going to send the Palestine Action people to jail because One of them turned up in the police station, said he supported the group, didn't he? And they sent him home. Go away, go home. They wouldn't do that to one of us, would they? If we went in there and started talking about, violence, they'd be in the cell, mate, and we'll see you next week in court. So yeah. Lord Viking again, he says, Richard at the pub, question mark. I don't think so, but I will be checking up. He doesn't actually drink much these days. I have to bite the bullet and help him out and do it for him, but I'm not complaining. I've got broad shoulders and all the rest of it, and that's my job in life. Yes. Someone says you should be practicing archery off the cliff of Dover. Yes, very safe that actually, because you can see the clear sea and you can avoid all the boats that might be floating around, can't you? Yes, Robin Hood. Robin Hood, we need him back, don't we? Really? And 16th century. Was that what I was referring to? Yeah, was that what I was referring to earlier with archery being of a certain time frame? I think it might well have been. My grandson and I have taken up archery. Yes, we were amazing at archery. That's as a country. Yeah, that's because everyone practiced back in the day. Yeah, very good. Oh, thank you very much, Christine Willis. Good afternoon, Jeff. Thank you for your talks. Well, it's only because I like talking. And no one else will listen. And Richard loves talking, have you heard? He likes shouting as well. So, yeah. Dear. Whitehall must be reformed. This is the big thing, isn't it? Whitehall must be reformed. It's one of the major cancers in our society now. I don't care what they say. Even the people who work in it. There was a Telegraph thing on it a couple of weeks ago, saying that even the people working in the civil service know it's a complete horlicks and they need to sort it out. But no one will, because there are vested interests in it at the top to keep it exactly as it is. Because you go through the progression. Then you get near the top, you get your New Year's honour, and then you retire on a fat pension. That's the game. That's how it works. And the ones at the top know that. They don't want people coming in and being assessed on their ability to actually make the country work. Their job should be to make the country better every year. But they don't. They dismantle bits of it every year or give bits away of it to, I don't know, Mauritius or Spain or whatever. They're just not interested. They don't care about the country. Oh, dear. Yeah, we really do need to sort that lot out. Yeah, the Aegean stables need flushing, says. Hurts. Yeah. Yes, and if you don't think there are sleeper cells in the UK, Jenny Pritchard is right. We've got to deal with them. There must be out there. We're letting all these people in, and you don't think there are sleeper cells out there? Well, the Russians just fly in and deploy poison around the place, don't they? No, it's just so easy to come into this country these days. Yes. All a satanic scam, says Grievous. Yeah. There is a lot of satanic thought behind all of this. Yeah, definitely. So, Scoop Dog says they run to stay in power for themselves, not our country or demands. Yeah, we work, pay the bills and vote. And we're the ones that get shafted, continually shafted all the time. Yeah, and that has to stop as well. James Warrington, is it true Labour are going to build polling stations in Pakistan? Well, it depends how long they go home on holiday for, doesn't it? They might be there for the whole of the election period. But I did think we had postal voting, didn't we? So there would actually be no need for that, would there? You can imagine the post office being filled up with postal votes from Pakistan, though, can't you? But could never happen. Labour is cracking down on voter fraud. We know it because Angela Rayner said so. And they're going to lower the voting age to 16 to make it even more secure and better results all round. Yes. So I'm just going through some comments. Thank you, Western body. It says, thank you for reporting of issue in EU. Well, I started off, my whole thing was starting off with about the EU and Brexit and all that. And I started this channel, or started doing it regularly when it became obvious to me that the government was not doing what the voters told them to do. And, I just started from there. So I've sort of gotten a lot of interest in what goes on in the EU anyway. Yeah. De-existentialist says, if our lads end up on fighting the Russians, who are the young fighting age men, who are we going to be left with? Yes, exactly. What are we going to be left with here? Traffic wardens, police. Yeah. Anyway, it's not like it's not like we've got a sort of a strong armed forces anyway, is it? To conduct a war anyway, we probably have to send them all over there, including the ones who are ill and not meant to be fighting, just to make up the numbers, you know. But I'm looking forward to the days of conscription where they do it in proper order. You know, if you want certain people to join your armed forces and certain certain people, then what you do is you make sure that when conscription comes, those are the people you conscript first. You leave the young white men till last because you didn't want them in the first place in your army, navy, and air force. So you should leave them at home to sort of I don't know, just go about their normal work, and all the others should go off to fight because those are the ones you wanted in the first place. And when you get the chance to conscript people, what better chance than that? Yeah, sure. Yeah, as Attackmar says, it's not just the hotels they're funding, private rentals, HMOs, etc. Yes, it's across the board. When I was listening, I don't know whether you caught my video, or was it yesterday, when I showed the video of Keir Starmer at the liaison committee saying to everybody, oh, we can't house all the homeless. We're trying to get the money into the right place, and it's going to be a long-term thing. Then they got straight onto the case of immigration, and someone said, one of the MPs there said, well, you've got people vying, councils wanting to get hold of houses for the homeless, and you've got the Home Office turning up with loads of money to rent these things out for the asylum seekers. And it's the same house. And he said, oh, no, there's loads of houses in local government. And you could hear the murmuring in the background as people were saying, what? What did he just say? So what he's saying is there's no housing at all for Indigenous people here who've lived here all their lives, families, and they get on hard times. There's nothing for them. But people who come here illegally across a channel, across dangerous crossings across the channel, they can just walk straight in. Oh, there's plenty of houses. Now, if that doesn't tell you exactly what's going on, nothing will. Nothing. Yeah. Yes, of course the police lies. They are the only legalized criminal organization. Yeah, that was a really good book. Years, I can't remember the title of it. And what it was about crime and economics. And this book was claiming, and probably rightly so, that crime is the biggest driver in the economy. Because as it pointed out, there'd be no door locks, there'd be no window locks, there'd be no car locks. You could buy things, you could leave things in the street, no one would take them. You know, if everybody was honest, nothing. And he was asking questions like, everybody thinks drugs pays a lot, but why do all drug dealers live with their mum? That's the sort of questions that this guy was asking. But at the end of the day, when you think about it, the police, if they want more money, they need more crime, don't they? Yeah. If they want, yeah. So you've got to wonder sometimes what their actual main real thing is. They want lots of crime and then to be seen to be solving lots of crime. It's sort of one thing fighting the other. Yeah. And Kappa Deseo says the police is just another street gang fighting for the control of our streets. Unfortunately, the government has legalized this street gang. Yes, they have. They've definitely legalized one of them. And thank you very much, MJV. Love your work, Jeff. Thank you very much for your contribution. Well, I do my best. It's sometimes it's you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do after you brush your teeth, even before breakfast, get on the computer and see what the latest news is to get yourself all riled up for the day. And it's not like there's ever anything good there, is there? You know, there's always a government. That's the worst thing about it all. You don't wake up in the morning and they say, the government has been disbanded. The government has gone. It no longer exists. That never happens. Even during a general election period, the government is still in force. The prime minister, although they're not an MP anymore, they're still the prime minister, and the chancellor is still the chancellor. There's still government in there doing things. So government never ever goes away, and we are losing control every day, little bit by little bit, of our own government, and that can't be right. Oh, I hadn't known this. I didn't know this. There's been shootings in Ireland. Yeah, if that's true. Depends what it's all about. But yeah. Yeah, here we go. Tech Junkies 68 Music and Tech says, yeah, the police are not interested in solving crime. They just go after low-hanging fruit, like dishing out fines that have been facilitated by a corrupt system. Yeah. So yes, absolutely. The police, it's all meant to be all about consent. They're meant to be going after the real bad guys, but they don't seem to be wanting to do that. Yeah, old school Pete. Yeah, no, that's not true. No doubt there probably is a street gang in there, but that's not real. That's a communist trick to rile up Black America that's been used over here for the same reasons, basically. Yeah, but it's all about riling people up, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Jeff is alarmed, meaning the beep. Yeah, I don't know whether you can hear it, actually. It's an annoying the out of me at the moment because it keeps going off. If it had started before I started the stream, at least I've had 2 minutes to change the battery. But yeah. Yes. So police only solve hurty words. They can't solve real crime. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, this is a good one as well. Where's Yvette Cooper? Isn't she supposed to be the Home Secretary? She should be out there facing the public and reassuring them. Yeah, yeah. Politicians these days don't seem to have much about them, do they? Other than I'm going to sit here and throw invective at people and all the rest of it, and new laws and stuff just to keep you out and stop you complaining. If you have a job where you think you might say something that are going to upset people and get you sacked or something, you need to join the Free Speech Union. And I get no kickback for saying that, although I'm a member of the Free Speech Union. I'll push that because this is the time. Free speech is getting ground down still, despite the Free Speech Union. We need more and more people need to join the Free Speech Union, Toby Young's outfit, and also make sure you get on September the 13th. You get to London for Tommy Robinson's free speech rally. That's going to be absolutely massive. It's going to be the one that you wished you were at if you didn't go. It's going to be huge. And to help him out, just send him a couple of quid. Just go on his Twitter feed and send him a couple of quid because every bit helps. They're trying to hire big screens, stage, and I can tell you this stuff is absolutely phenomenally expensive. And he's got a lot on his plate, so a couple of quid here and there would really go down well in support of that. So please do that. Yeah. God, these things are moving. Even though I put this on slow mode today so I could keep up on my own, but I'm finding it very hard. even keeping up with that. And part of the reason I put comments in slow mode was because yesterday I got someone in who was trying to spam everything. So I decided I'd do that for the moment just to quieten it all down. Stephen Gamer says they're putting all their chess pieces in place. Most people won't see it coming. Yes, the chess pieces are coming in bit by bit. So, yeah. What we've got here is a failure to communicate, says Tommy Noble. Some governments you just can't reach. We cannot. They're not in listening mode. They're in. They've got the earplugs in, listening to their own music. That's all they're doing. They're listening to their own music. They live in a little bubble, a little Westminster bubble. All of their own creation. They love it in there. Everyone's patting each other's back. When they leave the bubble and go abroad, they enter another little bubble of the same sort of people patting each other on the back, and the king is in there with them, and it's all wonderful. The money's coming in from us every single day to fund it all. Yeah, they're not listening to the people who are funding them and voting for them, and that's got to change. Really has got to change. Yeah, someone's saying that there's been an event in Ireland and expanded on it with killings and 2 injured. Yeah, I don't know what it's all about. I'd have to go. If I was with Richard, he'd be looking that up right now and bringing you the latest on it. But that would take me a bit of time and take me away from what I'm doing here. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. This is quite a good one. Guns saves lives, says West. Yes and no. It depends who's holding them. The guns do nothing. If I put a gun on a table, it doesn't do anything. It just rusts away over centuries. It's who is holding the ruddy thing that matters. And at the moment, all the good people who did have a weapon for sport or for their job, who had it taken off of them when the gun laws came in under Labour, I think it was, everyone to make the country a safer place. All the good people had the guns taken off of them, but the bad ones didn't. They've still got them. Didn't change that one iota. So, yeah, told to take a knee for something in America while our statues were being destroyed, says Attack Mars. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Midas Touch 2022. Jeff, will you be wearing that bat belt of yours that steals all the internet signal on the 13th of September? All I've got is a mobile sort of Wi-Fi thing that I carry around with me. It's quite a big and powerful one. And all it does is it hunts out the best signal when you start the stream. So it might be from various different sources that you get the best stream from. But then after that, it just, it's stuck with that particular one. But I am looking at improving that, but it's going to cost a lot of money. So I might have a bigger box with more stealing capability. Yes. Oh dear. Oh yes. What's this one? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Here it is. So Air Hammond says free booze. Yes, I can understand that. If everyone else can have free stuff, why can't we have free booze? Yeah. Amanda Bussy says, we'll give money as well. We'll be there on the 13th with my grandson. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. It's going to be an event for everyone from young to old. Everyone's going to be safe. It's going to be a good event. So, yeah. Here we go. Jacqueline Jones. Hello, Jeff. Who is funding Tommy's rally? Basically, people who give donations. That's it. I mean, what else can we expect? People who give donations will be funding the rally, and the more donations they got, the better they get, the better it can be. And at the rally themselves, they hand around buckets, and these buckets are usually for set causes. I mean, one year they handed all these buckets round for the victims of grooming, the girl victims of grooming, and they got quite a lot of money in those buckets, which was given directly to these girls to help them, because they're not getting the right help they need, because the state doesn't want to admit anything Yeah, it just makes you wonder, doesn't it? All of that. Um, yeah, yeah. Hell's Bell says corrupt world. Yeah, there's a lot of corruption out there, and we were at one time a shining example of it being less openly corrupt. But that seems to be going, doesn't it? You seem to be, you can't even wander along a road without it. Crime is just rife at all levels. So, and it's going to get worse. I think going to get worse. We're going from a high trust society. When I was a kid, an aunt of mine had a key in the door, and it was in the door because it was used to open the door. Anyone could go in, no problems at all. Nowadays, should be cowering behind the door with locks and everything. Anyway, yeah. Adam Price says London is basically its own city-state, like the Vatican. It's not really England. Yeah, you could look at it in that way, but that's what they want. That's what people like Sadiq Khan want. It's an internationalist city. They all look the same, so they're all the same. They're run the same by the same sort of people. They all have lots of eco stuff. It's all net zero. Trouble is, every time I go on the underground, it's foul down there. Really is. It's hot, sweaty, and horrible, and you can smell it, and you're thinking it's not very nice down here, but it's the most efficient way of traveling in London. They could improve it a lot, but the safest place is up on the streets, as far as I can work out. Well, the safest in the ecological or environmental way, anyway. Down in the underground, it just seems to be full of fumes all the time, and sometimes is extremely loud, which can't be good for your ears either, especially children. Children shouldn't be allowed on the underground. It probably hurts them. Yes. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I've had a great time talking to you, and I think I've said my fill. But just please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment where you can. And if you want to become a member, we'll send you bits of extra content on top of what other people get. But the most important thing is to stay optimistic. Make sure that you make your feelings known and don't be held back by freedom of speech issues unless it's going to get you into jail or cancelled from your job. I know that that's a problem, but we must push the envelope where we can. Join the Free Speech Union. I know it costs money every year, but it's one of those things. It's like an insurance policy. And the more people who join it, the more money it has, and the better the job it can do, because it can hire good solicitors and barristers. And these people do actually do pro bono work. That's for free for certain cases, especially if they're high profile, where it puts a message across. So yeah, please do that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that, and I'm going to end the stream now. So all I'll say is it's on my own. It's goodbye from me, and I'll see you at the next stream, and thank you so much for watching.